First, we're going to remove the top cover. But before you do that, before you do anything, disconnect the battery. Probably just best to pull it out. Spray WD-40 on all the top bolt areas, say for instance on the muffler side, and also up underneath where the motor itself connects to. So I'm looking at the 4 bolts that hold the engine in, and it looks like one of them is up behind the gear pulley here, so that's going to have to come off. And of course, don't forget to unhook your flywheel here, which you got to take off also, and remove that, which starts at the top of the engine, of course. Of course, it's always nice to find a bolt before you even get started removing anything that looks like for sure it went to your lawnmower. So at some time when you were working on it, you forgot a bolt. What I'm going to try to do is keep the parts, that is the tools that were used for that area, for that part, try to keep them in perhaps a area that I can come back to and use again. That is, keep them also with the bolts that they were used on. In this video, I'm not going to use a bunch of jargon that people that are experienced use. Can't, because I'm not experienced. I've done a few things. I've done the carburetor. I've done the alternator on this. I've done the starter back there. I've rewired it. Yeah, that was fun. Redid the ignition. So I know little bits of jargon, but mostly I'm going to use such things as the thingamajob, that thing, the green thing, the round thing, that really strange looking thing. I'm going to use that kind of a jargon when I do this. Removing the top cover is kind of self-explanatory. You know, the grate. But one thing is to remember, there is a screw right here, or you're not. And don't forget, you have bolts. Some of us do, on each side and in the front. Make sure you got all your tools. You know, I went to go look for a medium Phillips, which normally sits right here. I tried to organize. It was gone. So I thought it was my grandson. Nope, found it in my wife's kitchen drawer. If you can, put your screws, your bolts, your nuts, anything you take out, try to put them back into the location that you took them out of, or attach them to the part that you took them out of, so that you don't lose stuff. The other engine I'm getting is about same year, maybe a little newer, but I rebuilt this carburetor, or I should say, I'm sorry, I'm going to rebuild it again. And the carburetor though is new. It's a Nicky carburetor. So I'm going to just take this part off along with the, I guess you'd call these exhaust valve, yeah, thingamajiggers, and put that on the new one, along with the starter. Since I put that brand new in, I'm going to keep it too. Do I have to say pinch off your gas line and then kind of move that out of your way? Make sure you remove your choke, your throttle, and then you remove your governor connection after you take your piece completely off. After you remove your throttle and your choke, put them somewhere out of the way, okay? And remember, put your pieces back on. My dad used to knuckle my head for not doing that. So don't make me want to come out there and knuckle your head. Okay, so up here you have, in your magneto area, you have your connectors here, your connectors there, and then you have the fuel solenoid, right? That connects, right, that comes through here, all right? Now mine is connected to a red. Now watch this here. Here's what I did. So it's connected to a fuse, okay? Right there. See it? So I was trying to figure out how to remove it because that goes up to the key solenoid area under the key. So I just took it from there. I'm going to snap it back together here, okay? Now I can just pull that part up through here, like that. There we are. And then I can undo it from here. You know, undo it, it's grounded, of course, you know. And then maybe pull this plate back a little bit, pull that plate back a little bit and pull it out of there. All right, I've removed the solenoid connector. Oh, my goodness gracious. And I'm going to lay that to a safe location. I'm probably going to need that if the other one doesn't come with it. I don't have the other engine yet, so I'm not sure. The magneto one, we can just unhook that. That just goes back to the ignition wire. That's a green one running down there, see it? And going back up into the ignition wires. Okay, now you're going to have to remove, of course, your deck belt and your deck pulley, which goes in the drive shaft, and then of course also your drive motor up here. Once you remove this one, then it's easy to take this one off. I'm not going to show you. I'm not going to go over how to remove your belt from your deck. That's something you should know. Just going over what you need to do first, and then of course connect the wrench up there and a wrench down here. Loosen that and drop your pulley. When you take the belt wheel off, we should remember the cotter pin. It fits up in this area in there, right? And also, this is a really nightmare to get this belt off. Yeah, it's really nightmare. Just work it and pry it until you finally get it off. There are 4 bolts that go to this motor. Let's see if you can see them up in here, right in here. 4 sides, except I'm having a situation where up in here there's the 4th bolt. See if you can see it up in there, right up in there. See, so I'm trying to figure out how to move that pulley out of the way. I'm not sure if you can unscrew this, which is attached to a spring, which I'm a little nervous about. Otherwise, I think I'm done for the day. Don't forget, put your nuts back. We'll start again in the morning. Remove this pulley out of the way. Not sure if I'm going to do the spring part or try to push this back. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I stopped for a moment on trying to get that pulley off, and now I'm working on getting the, yep, muffler. There we are. It had a couple of screwy screws on it, a torque screw, and of course then regular 1/2-inch screws. But that's out of my way. Beak. So I used a block and a crowbar, which kind of pushed that back, and then shoved the block up in here, like so, and then that allowed me to get to that hole, and now I've got all 4 bolts removed for the engine. Now I'm going to pull it off and go get the other one. There you go. She's off, ready to go. I think I need to maybe clean it up a little bit, make it look kind of pretty. I'd like to paint it, but maybe that's going too far out of the way. Well, there she is, the new engine. Got her all cleaned up and redid the carburetor, with the carburetor kit. Now we're going to kind of clean. Yeah, I went ahead and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Now we're going to be slapping it in. The only issues that we had to do with this came off a newer lawnmower. So my connections, of course, were rewired by some silly little boy. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out, if it's going to work out for us or not. And also I just noticed that, gosh darn, I got a hole in my gas line there, I guess it ate through, I'm not sure. So we'll see how this goes now. I'm going to slap it in, and of course one bolt goes up underneath this guy here, as I told you, and I got to figure out how we're going to do that. And I got my son with me. He's going to help maneuver it for me. And we just thank God for what we've got so far. So the new engine is in, but what I've got happening is, I'm sure you've all heard it, the surging. Now it's not, I do have a little bit of popping right towards the end there. I tried a couple of things. I put a new gas filter in. I did new lines, put new lines up in here. I tried testing, I tried testing the cap here to see if that was it. I did do a rebuild. The small areas within here where you've got various seats and then your needle, these areas I changed all the little seals out. But there's one area I didn't do, and I'm gonna show that after I get this all off. I'm kind of mad at myself for not doing it. It should have been done. This is the area that I missed. I missed these jets right there. As you can see, they should there's like screens in there, so you should be able to see light through there, which you can. Now I sprayed them out, and then of course now I'm going through and getting the small holes on these. What would you call these? I'm not sure. I know there's a name for them, a technical name, but I just like whatchamacallit. It doesn't matter much to me, as long as you know what I'm talking about and we're communicating. You can see what I'm doing. And then the whatchamacallit works for me. So I took the breather off, and then see these little holes right here, the top ones. Can you see them? Let's see if I can get the light a little better on there. All right. Now if you notice, stick my hose right up in there, and I watch up here. Yeah. Make sure them are cleaned out. Yeah. And then down here you got your bottom ones. Yeah. Okay, there. I don't think the center one, I haven't found any place where it's going just yet. Anyway, I think that needs to be cleaned out too. If it's cleaned the right way.